This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. We keeping a foot on the what? On the next. We keeping a foot on the what? On the next. Errol the True Spence is going to pop. Danny Garcia'S Cherry Part 33. Let me say it again. Errol the True Spence is going to pop. Danny Garcia'S Cherry Part 33. Hear me? You hear me? Wow. The bottom line is this. The reason why you see Danny Garcia'S ramping up, the reason why you see Angel Garcia'S ramping up is because they have to sell the fight. That's what it boils down to. They know bottom line that this is their last big fight before Danny Garcia has to go into the sunlight, before Danny Garcia has to go into the sunrise, before Danny Garcia has to realize that he's no longer going to be the same fighter anymore. When Errol the True Spence fights Danny Garcia is going to become a shell of himself. You have to look at a pattern here. Every time Errol the True Spence steps into the ring with a Garcia, they're either not found, i.e. Jonathan Garcia. I'm going to do the Hulk Hogan. Have you heard of him since? Things that make you say, Mikey Garcia. Have you heard of him since? Things that make you say, Mikey Garcia got beat up in a charity fight against Eric Morales. That's what Errol the True Spence regressed him to. Let me say it again. Mikey Garcia got beat up in a charity fight against Eric Morales. That's what Errol the True Spence regressed him to. And then we got Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is going to learn a cardinal rule in boxing. When you fight Errol the True Spence, you are no longer the same fighter. Look at the damage that Shawn Porter took. Shawn Porter said, I had to get a tune-up with Sebastian Formella. You know why he had to get that tune-up? Because he was suffering from what we call Errol the True Spence bloated trauma. Woo! What I said was so deep and profound. Let me let that marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. Hear me? You hear me? Well, Shawn Porter was dealing with bloated trauma from the Errol the True Spence fight. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. And that's the cutthroat true-teller fashion. When you fight Spence, you are no longer the same fighter. Your fight game is done. Now, when we look at Danny Garcia, what does Danny Garcia bring to the table that denotes he's one of a hell of a fighter? He's not. Danny Garcia is a fighter that became comfortable. He's a fighter that is basically feasting off of the spoils of 140. 147, Danny Garcia has not done anything to merit the respect that everyone supposedly all of a sudden is giving him. If you notice a pattern here, every time a fighter fights Errol the True Spence, they are rated higher in a Spence fight than they really are. Let me say that again, because that one needs to stick in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. It needs to stick in the medulla oblongata. Every time Errol the True Spence fights an opponent, they are rated than what they actually are. Was anybody talking about Danny Garcia? Do you understand how many people, reverse bias, aka detractors, aka panders, that was saying that Danny Garcia ain't shit? Danny Garcia is a cherry picker. But all of a sudden, because he fights Errol the True Spence, Danny Garcia is something. Don't you notice? It's not about Danny Garcia. We know what Danny Garcia's truest and the most properest levels is at. It's about the hate for Errol the True Spence. The hate for Errol the True Spence is too real out here in these boxing streets. So anybody that's pinned up against Errol the True Spence, they say that this person is better than what they are. They said Mikey Garcia was the Mexican Mayweather. They said Shawn Porter has skills. And when we know Shawn Porter is an ineffective aggression style fighter, but they said Shawn Porter, oh, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. They turn around now and they're saying Danny Garcia has power when we know his power at 147 is overrated. Let me say it again. They're saying that Danny Garcia has power when we know damn well that Danny Garcia's power is overrated. How all of a sudden Danny Garcia is more than meets the eyes? How all of a sudden did Danny Garcia transform in front of our eyes? Let me say it again. How did all of a sudden Danny Garcia become more than meets the eyes? How did Danny Garcia transform in front of our eyes? It's because the hate for Errol the True Spence is too real out here in these boxing streets. But come November 21st, it's as simple as this. Danny Garcia is getting his cherry in a damn boxing ring. Because the bottom line is this, he doesn't cut the mustard. Anybody that's using the true boxing eye test knows that Errol the True Spence is just in another league. He's on another level. He's on another planet. And the stuff that he has in a stimulus package form that he's going to bring to the ring is going to disrupt Danny Garcia. And Danny Garcia and them, what they're hoping for is Errol the True Spence jaw not holding up because of the car crash. They're hoping that Errol the True Spence is still suffering from some trauma from the car crash. But we didn't see that. What happened to all of these Rudy Point Plum Plum breaks, classic Dolce and troglodytes, ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric that was saying that Errol the True Spence, he's slurring his speech. You see, he not even talking straight. You see, Errol the True Spence, he sound like he's all over the place. Errol the True Spence, he sound like, we can't make out his words. Didn't he sound clear in the PBC interview? Didn't he sound like the Errol the True Spence of old? So, stop the presses and pump the brakes on the nonsense. Go sit down somewhere and in the finger wagging. Higgity fucking hush. Errol the True Spence sound normal. He told you he was eating, he was sleeping, and he was fucking shit and fucking boxing. That means he's on his Achilles shit. That means he's here to bulldoze and steamroll motherfuckers. See, the thing with Achilles is that dude that knows that he's just dominant over the competition. And he needs somebody to bring the best out of him. In this instance, it's not Danny Garcia that's bringing the best out of the Achilles variation of Errol the True Spence. It's Errol the True Spence's own past glory of himself that's bringing out the Achilles in Errol the True Spence. So he has to basically channel going against himself. This is what the true alpha extraordinaire, governed by true alpha economics, have to face. They have to always go against themselves. They always have to go against their own success. They have to always challenge their own dichotomy, not the opponent, because the opponent is lesser than what they have to deal with when they have to stare with themselves in the mirror, because they are their own biggest critic. And what Errol the True Spence realized when he was bullshitting, he realized that he went from, a few days off to a few weeks off to a few months off. Let me say it again. A few days off to a few weeks off to a few months off. This is not the case. Spence, everything that he tells you is the truth. And what I like about Spence is when he's not doing what he's supposed to, he tells you it off rip. So it has to come out of no one. He Olivia Popes the fucking situation. And the bottom line is this. He told you off rip. He was not on his shit. Now he's back on his shit. So I expect Danny Garcia to get bulldozed. I expect Danny Garcia to get steamrolled, because Danny Garcia, what he brings to the table, cannot hang with the likes of a Errol the True Spence. He's out of his league. And like Rocky 3, what did Clubber Lang say when they asked what the prediction is? What is the prediction, Clubber Lang, in this fight? Pain, pain, and more pain. Let me say it again. Pain, pain, and more pain. So the bottom line is, come November 21st, Errol the True Spence is going to deliver pain, pain, and more pain. And come November 21st, Errol the True Spence is going to what? Boop! Danny Garcia's cherry. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.